So lately I've been listening to a lot of lectures and reading a lot on psychology and self-help. And I have to say that it's been very enlightening, if that's the correct word to use, because what I've discovered through reading all of these stuff and listening to these people is most of us don't really know ourselves as much as we think we know ourselves. Like, I can give you an example. Most of us, me included, have been running away from stuff, from past trauma and stuff that we think we got over, but we never really got over it because we didn't confront it yet. So we can't really get over something if you don't confront it head on. And as I was listening and as I was reading, I just came to a conclusion that a lot of these difficult questions and difficult situations and uncomfortable situations that we don't want to face is based on a lot of failure in our past. Like, if you're scared to talk to girls, or if you're scared to approach women, it's probably because you've been rejected in the past, or you've been a coward and you've rejected yourself basically, or you got harshly rejected by her or whatever. And that stuff sticks with us, and as you go through life, we distract ourselves basically to forget about all of that. It'll work for the moment, but down the line there's going to be some serious problems that will come from distracting yourselves and not facing yourself and facing these situations and these problems and these situations and questions head on. It's from my own personal experience, it's been very mind-blowing, because as much as you think you don't have the answer, or as much as you think you don't have answers to the stuff that's really bothering you, your brain already has answers to these difficult questions. It's only up to you to find those answers, to sit with yourself in a secluded area, no distractions around you, and ask yourself, really delve deep into yourself and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? What happened in the past that made me who I am today? If I'm scared of this, what happened that made me scared of it? Really sit and ask yourselves. And like I said, a lot of this stuff is going to be based on failure. And I listened to Jordan Peterson one time, and he said that you can't twist the fabric of reality and get away with it. As corny as that sounds, as cheesy as it sounds, he was right. He was really correct. And even for me, there's a lot of times that I twisted the fabric of reality and I thought I would get away with it. But it turns out that no, I'm not getting away with anything. That stuff is gonna come later in your life. That stuff is gonna catch up to you, and it's gonna haunt you. And the sooner you confront it, the better. If you decide to go, well, if you're on self-improvement, right, then, and you trying to understand yourself better and know yourself better, then sooner or later you're gonna have to go down this road. You're gonna have to sit with yourself, and you're gonna have to sit in that uncomfortable silence and that uncomfortableness and you're gonna have to ask yourselves these difficult questions. But when you do that, you will understand so much more about yourself. You will learn so much more about yourself. Things that you thought was insignificant in the past, it might turn out that it's a much more bigger deal than you thought it would be. Now, I'm not saying that's always gonna be the case, but there's gonna be some exceptions. It's only up to you to delve inside yourself and find out who and what you truly are. And if you're struggling a bit, right? So here's a few tips that I can give you, but I'm only beginning now, the beginning stages of it, so I don't really know much. But there's what I did. So, like I said, sit in a secluded area, meditate beforehand, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to clear your mind and to get your mind focused and relaxed. Then, if it's preferably nighttime or between twilight and night, sit in your room, turn off all the lights, get out all the distractions, and then you sit in your bed. But make sure your spine is straight so you don't fall asleep or get tired. And then you just stare at the wall, or you stare at the ceiling, or you stare at whatever. And then you ask yourself the questions that's really bothering you. Chances are you know already what's bothering you, but you just don't want to confront it. Well, when you do that, when you sit in that environment and you're confronting yourself, your brain will have no choice but to give you the answers to these questions that you have, and to actually focus on these questions that you're asking yourself. Of course, it won't happen within 5 minutes or 10 minutes of time. You need to actually sit half an hour, and sit in that uncomfortable environment, ask yourself these questions and get the answers to it. Your brain already knows the answers to these difficult questions, but you just don't want to face those answers. And that's the case for a lot of people. The reason this stuff is difficult for you is because the answers that you need is not the answers that you want. It might sound harsh, but unfortunately, that's the path you're gonna have to go down if you truly want to improve yourself and understand yourself better. Now, the people that really helped me to develop myself better is Leo from Excelize.org, and then it's also, of course, Hamza and his self-improvement advice. Then it's also Ice Cold IT. Yeah, so his videos are, most of the time it's humorous, but if you understand what he's saying, and it's not just there for the humor, you're there to actually take information away, then a lot of things that Ice Cold IT is saying is gonna be it's gonna be, how do I say this now? It's gonna be very helpful basically to you, like very, very helpful. And even if you think that these stuff are mundane and you already know it and you don't need it, yes, these stuff are, maybe you already know it, but most of us haven't truly taken in just how profound these stuff and simple questions is to ourselves, to understand ourselves better and to understand the world we live in better. Now, from my experience, right, I've discovered that it's not easy. It's really not easy. Like I said, a lot of the times it's gonna be answers that you don't want to hear. And it's gonna be difficult to face those answers and to actually do what needs to be done. But one thing that I can tell you, one thing that's gonna profoundly change your life drastically is if you sit in that environment, ask yourself these questions, get the answers, and do exactly what the answers is saying, you will feel a lot better about yourself after you've done what needs to be done. So for example, if you're struggling with women, right? You're struggling with women, then you ask yourself, why am I struggling with women, right? Then you're gonna sit, you're gonna get the answer. Okay, this is the reason. Your brain, like I said, your brain already knows the answers to the questions. So you're gonna get the answer. Okay, this happened in the past, that's the reason I'm struggling. Then what am I gonna do about it to make sure it doesn't happen in the future, okay? And then the answer you're gonna get from that, and you will have an answer. Don't worry about it. You will have an answer because your brain already knows all the answers to these questions. So when you get the answer to what you will do in the future to prevent or at least help you, if you do that, like maybe you go outside, you cold approach some people, you get a few numbers, or you just go and talk to random people. If you do that, your confidence, number one, your confidence will skyrocket. You will get into a flow state, and that will boost your confidence even more. One thing about the flow state, this is now a separate topic, but it falls under the same category. One thing about the flow state, social flow state, is once you're in it, you're not gonna be worrying about unnecessary things. Like, you're not gonna be up in your head. You're not gonna be thinking about what should I say next, what should I do next, or this conversation is gonna become boring, or is he thinking, am I a creep or whatever? No, all of that stuff is gonna be gone. That's the most important thing of the social flow state. You need to get into it if you want to cold approach some people. So, like I said, you're gonna get more confident. You're gonna be able to tap into the flow state better or more consistently, and then also if you do these things, right, your life in general will improve. You can't go wrong with it. Because you as a person will grow. If you understand yourself more and you actually understand what needs to be done and you go out and do those things, you as a human being, as a person, you will grow into a better man or a better woman. Your value will become higher because you are not settling for anything less. You already know, if you go out and do the work, you already know that you're just climbing that ladder. Your mentality will shift and you will see the world through a different lens. So you won't settle for anything less than what you know you truly are. So the last piece of advice I can give to you is, so first of all, watch these people. Do exactly what they tell you to do, and then you can't go wrong if you just follow the advice and actually do the work that needs to be done, that they recommend to you, that they tell you to do. I'll link their channels in the description below. Please, if you're on self-improvement, you're gonna have to walk this path sooner or later. So rather make it now while you're still young, or while you still have the time and you still have the energy to do it, rather than later when you're already in your 30s or your 40s and you're only deciding then to work on yourself.